Hello guys, welcome back to another FIFA 22 video. Today's the 4-1-2-1-2 second variant post-patched custom tactics and play instructions for team of the season. Let's get straight into it. So, these work on next gen and old gen. I get all the time people asking me, does this work on next gen or old gen, or what one are you using? Basically it works on both. I have tried them on new gen. I've also tried them on old gen just to see how much different they are. They seem pretty much the same to me, so they work on both fine, so you don't need to worry about that. Whatever console you're on, they still work fine. Let's get into it for the tactics first. These are very different 4-1-2-1-2 seconds to what I normally use, to what I'm used to from like past FIFAs and stuff, and also just the start of this FIFA. But they do actually work really well. The post-patch sort of update has changed a lot of stuff, but they're still very good. So defensive style, we're going to be using a press after possession lost. The first time I'm actually using a press on the 4-1-2-1-2 seconds, but it does work really well. I normally try and avoid presses, but this one is actually the best one to go with because your team only presses for 7 seconds, and if you win the ball back in those 7 seconds, then it is very good because once again you got possession. And if you don't win the ball back, then you're pretty much, so it's sort of like automatically switching to balanced, and it doesn't really make any difference. Your players aren't draining that much energy, and they're not getting drawn out of position too much. So that is quite the best one to go with, just to try and win the ball back as quickly as possible in those 7 seconds. The width on 35 is making it really narrow when defending, making it much harder for your opposition to sort of play through the middle, making it really tough for them, sort of pushing them out wide, but it's still not too narrow that they're always going to be playing out wide too easily. So you've still got your fullbacks out wide, stopping them from playing out wide, but still making it very difficult for them to play either wide or narrow, which is why we're using 35. Depth on 40 is hitting your defence quite deep, but not too deep that we're sort of letting the opposition have all the possession, but deep enough so they're not going to run straight through us, and it's very hard for them to get through on goal. For the build-up play, we're using balance. I normally always say use fast build-up on the 4-1-2-1-2 second, and you can still use it. It still works really well, but balance just seems slightly better now than it used to. Fast build-up used to be the major in this formation, not quite as much anymore, so we're going to be sticking it with balance. But if you want to use fast build-up, you go and do that. Chance creation on direct passing. Pretty much the major this year, just getting the ball to your attackers as quickly as possible. Direct passing is the major this year. It's better than forward runs. I use forward runs sometimes, but direct passing is the thing you want to be using pretty much all the time this year. Width on 30s, once again, still keeping it very narrow, actually a bit narrower than the defensive. This is just to stop your centre mids drifting that wide. You see you've got the shape here, and you've got the diamond shape with your your CDM, your cam, and your 2 centre mids, where you want to keep that diamond shape pretty much in the shape as much as possible. If they drift out wide, then it will mess up the entire formation, so keep it like that. Keep your fullbacks slightly narrow as well, so if you push your fullbacks out too wide, they're going to be sort of up against the touchline. If they're too wide, they're going to be out the game. You're still keeping them wide, but not too wide that they're sort of out the game on 30. Players in box on 7 to keep the sort of the attacking part. When you narrow the width too much, it sort of does make it slightly more defensive, so to sort of counter that, we want 7 on the players in boxes to make sure we're really overloading that opposition box, getting as many chances as we can. Corners on 2 and free kicks on 2. Player instructions: balanced width, balanced width, getting behind and forward. Stay forward on your strikers. Both the same, so balanced width, getting behind and stay forward, so making those forward runs behind the opposition defenders, getting them behind as well with the runs, and then balanced width. I normally say stay central, but there's no wide players, so your strikers can have more freedom drifting out wide. For your cam, stay forward to help out the strikers and get into the box across to once again ensure always overloading the box on every attack. For your 2 centre mids, make sure cover centre. Then I recommend leaving the rest default just to give them the most freedom on the ball. 2 CDMs, cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, so they're staying back above the centre backs and not pushing up when attacking. You want your CDM to be sort of just sitting above the centre backs, defending as always and not really pushing up, otherwise you're going to leave a big gap above the centre backs. So cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking and covers centre so he is not drifting out wide. 2 centre backs, always leave default. For your fullbacks on this formation, I recommend balanced attack and then overlap. Overlap, so they're making the overlapping runs on the outside, always up against the touchline. You can go with stay back while attacking if you want to. If you feel like your fullbacks aren't fast enough or not good enough attacking, or you just want the extra defensive help out wide, keep on a stay back while attacking. But there's no wingers, so I do recommend using balanced attack. Unless you have wingers, I recommend using stay back while attacking. But there is no wingers, so use balanced attack here. So your fullbacks are doing a lot of work getting crosses into the box out wide. They are your main wide players, so you do want them to be going forward. And then for your goalkeeper, comes across it's your keeper's coming off his line more to defend corners and crosses, and sweeper keeper, be more aggressive, coming outside the box and challenging the opponent for loose balls and through balls. Sorry, I've talked that through quite quickly. I'll quickly run over everything again on the instructions just to make sure you got that. So goalkeeper comes across his sweeper keeper, centre backs default, fullbacks, balanced attack and overlap, CDM, cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking and cover centre. Centre mids, if I can get to them, balanced attack or pretty much balanced everything apart from cover centre. Cam on a stay forward and get into the box across. Strikers on balance width, getting behind and stay forward. And here's the tactics just one more time in case you needed them. I know I talk through stuff quite quickly sometimes, and I can feel myself doing it now. But that is everything for today, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll reply as quickly as possible. Thank you for watching. Enjoy using these tactics. Have a good rest of your day, and goodbye.